In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use the power rule of derivatives. We're going to look at some of the special cases, and basically I just want to get you in the rhythm of being able to do this quickly. So when you get to like the product rule and the quotient rule, you'll be comfortable with this and you know what's going on. So let's take a look at our first problem. So take the derivative of x to the fourth minus 3x to the eighth plus 74x squared minus 32. Okay, so firstly, how do we use the power rule? Now you'll notice that everything here is just in terms of x. So we have x, x, x. Then of course this is x to the 0 power times 32. But really you're going to see the power rule come into play when you just have regular expressions like these. So here's how you do the power rule. Let's say we can separate, basically we can take the derivative of each of these expressions because they're being added or subtracted, and that's the addition and subtraction rule of derivatives. But we want to learn the power rule. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to take the derivative of each individual expression, 3x to the eighth plus d dx. And of course, d dx just means we're taking the derivative, 74x squared, and then minus dx of 32. So basically what you want to do with the power rule is you want to bring down this top number, the exponent, and then multiply by whatever's in front. In this case, 1 is in front of the x. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 4 multiplied by x. And then, this is important also, what we're going to do the 4 is we're going to take the 4 and subtract 1. And you'll see that up here in the formula, you're just subtracting 1 from whatever power it is. So it'd be 4x to the third. And then we're subtracting, and we're taking the derivative of this expression now. And that's going to be 3x to the eighth, 8 times 3, because we're multiplying. So 3 times 8, ooh, not a pretty 8. 3 times 8 times x, and then 8 minus 1 is 7. And then adding, we have the derivative of 74x, so we're multiplying 74 times 2 by x, and then 2 minus 1 is just 1. And then we're subtracting the derivative of 32, and since 32 is a constant, and you'll see why this is actually 32 times x to the 0. If you multiply 0 by 32, it's just 0. So this is just 32 times 0 times, I guess you could put x to the minus 1, but of course 0 times anything is 0. So now we almost have our derivative. So let's simplify everything. 4x cubed minus, what is 3 times 8? 3 times 8 is 24. X to the 7th plus 74 times 2, that's 148. And then x to the 1, you can just leave it as x. And then since this thing right here is all just 0, we don't have to put anything here. So there you have it. F prime of x is equal to this expression right here. All right. So here's one of, I guess you could call, the special cases. If you look, you can't really do the power rule because this is under a fraction. This x to the 3 and x to the 2. And there's something you'll learn later called the quotient rule, which you could use here, but that would be too much work, really. what you want to do is you're going to manipulate these expressions. So really what you're going to be doing is the derivative of 1 times x to the negative 3. And why? Basically, there's a rule in algebra that says if there's a variable down here to a power, you can basically just make it to the same power but negative, and you can bring it up top. So remember that when you're doing derivatives, especially with power rule. Then that's going to be plus 7 times x to the negative 2 minus 64. So now we just have to take the derivative of each expression. And that would look like this. So multiply 1 times negative 3. That would be negative 3 x, and then negative 3 minus 1 plus negative 2 times 7, negative 14 times x to the negative 2 minus 1. Then like we said before, any constant is just 0. So that's 0. So let's simplify all this. We have negative 3x to the negative 4. Because when you subtract from a negative, you're basically adding. So it'd be negative 4 in that case. We add again. Well, no, we don't. We're just subtracting because this is a negative 14. So minus 14 x to the negative 3. And then this is just 0, so don't worry about that. And then this is going to be our f prime of x. And there you go. It's really that simple. I'd watch this video a couple times and get practice with it. And then you'd be good to go. And then I'll see you guys in the next video.